And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Larry Noble is under contract to make a picture in Hollywood for the newly organized Marco and Franklin studio. Nothing could have persuaded him to leave Mary in New York at a time like this, where she's recuperating in a hospital from the acid burns inflicted by the enraged Claudia Vincent, if he hadn't read a telegram to Mary from their friend Tom Bryson, the playwright, indicating that it was Mary's wish to have her husband leave New York. What Larry doesn't know is that Mary was only trying to spare him the agony of waiting for her to recover, and the worry of the bills that have been accumulating at such a frightening pace. Right now in Hollywood, Larry is driving home from the studio in the front seat of Sam Marco's car, as the producer drives it at a furious pace through traffic. And Larry does his best not to show his nervousness as we hear...
Too many cars on the road these days, Noble. That's the whole trouble. People crawling along and taking up the whole road. It's getting worse all the time.
Well, they're all moving along at a pretty good clip, it seems to me.
Crawling, that's all. I can't bear to go crawling along.
So I've noticed.
I like some speed. What's the good of having a special-built car that goes over 100 miles an hour if you hold it down to 30, 40?
What do you do about tickets when you spin along like this, Mr. Marco?
Tickets? I get them all the time. So what? Just pay the fine, forget all about it. You ought to get yourself a car while you're out here, my boy. Can't get along without a car.
I have one. Well, that is, Tom Bryson is lending me his for the time being.
Bryson? Now, there's a great writer. Smart as a whip.
That's right. He's written some mighty good plays.
Successful, too. Oh, he must have made a lot of money.
Well, I don't know about that. Tom doesn't hang on to money much better than I do, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's a big mistake, Noble. Easy come, easy go, sure. It's all right when it's coming in quick. But watch out for the time nobody wants you.
It's kind of a dismal warning, Mr. Marco, but I'll try to remember it.
I'm not joking.
Neither am I. That's why I'm arranging to move out of my hotel and find a small room someplace. That way I can send most of my earnings back home.
Still and all, you ought to stay at a good place. Got to keep up a front out here. Prestige.
You can't work it both ways, Mr. Marco. And I came out here to Hollywood for just one reason. Because I need to make money. Quite a lot of money. In a hurry.
Oh, that's no way to look at it, Noble. You've got a big future out here when you finish this picture. I'm talking to my partner about it right now. We'll maybe give you a good contract.
Well, that's very encouraging.
Oh, you're doing fine. I don't mind telling you straight out. I like people to know it when they're good.
Well, thanks.
Just like I told you when you came to my office. How I didn't want to take a chance with you when Tom Bryson tried to sell me. I thought to myself, if this Larry Noble is so good, how come you're trying to peddle him to me for peanuts? Don't make sense. You understand.
Only too well.
But he says now he thinks you want to come out to Hollywood. You've turned down lots of offers before, and that makes me suspicious all over again. Maybe you're one of these temperamental artists that nothing suits them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
So I told Tom Bryson, I don't think I want to sign up any stage stars, sight unseen. But does he give up? Not him. Keeps me on the telephone. He can't get outdoors, you know, because he has a cast on his back.
Yes, I know, Mr. Marco.
The telephone, all the time. I don't like to refuse his calls, Noble, because I'm figuring maybe to use one of his stories sometime. So I talk. Finally, I say, okay, I'll sign this, Larry Noble. And that was that. I expected all kinds of trouble, especially after reading all about that murder case back in New York, with you being arrested and getting mixed up with that Claudia Vincent, who turned out to be nothing but a lowlife, and a murderer, too. Yes, sir, Noble, I didn't expect much when you got here. So I'm telling you straight out how pleased I am that it's working so good.
I'm mighty glad to hear it.
Only I still don't understand. Why was it Tom Bryson wants so much to get you out here?
Well, that's just his way. Tom's very forceful. And when he found out that it would be a good idea for me to leave New York, to get into pictures for a while, he went right to work.
I'll say he did. You gave me such a sell, I thought you must be a dud.
I hope you'll have a chance to alter that opinion, Mr. Marco.
Oh, now, don't get me wrong, Noble. I told you already you're working out fine.
Good.
You've got a big future out here, and it's a lot steadier than the theater. You'll find that out.
Perhaps. I wonder if you'd mind letting me out at the next corner.
What for?
It'd be out of your way to take me to my hotel.
Where are you staying?
Beverly Hills, but I expect to move any day now.
What for? That's a good place.
Yes, I know. I'm I'm going to look for a less expensive room. I think I explained that.
Well, it's up to you, Noble. I don't want to interfere. What? Hey! What's wrong with you? Can't you look where you're going? Up in the back of my car. How will you look at that guy? First he runs into me, and then he races away.
You know, I have an idea that car's been following us since we left the set, Mr. Marco.
What for?
I'm sure I haven't any idea. But I've been watching him from time to time.
The nerve of that guy. If I'd known that, I'd have had him run in. Oh, well, meet old kinds out here. Probably some celebrity hound. Well, so long, Noble. See you in the morning.
Right. Thanks very much for the lift.
And meantime, in her room in a New York hospital, Mary Noble is sitting up in the big chair by the window, overlooking the busy East River. And close by is her good friend Maud Marlowe, the character actress. Mary is reading from a letter, and we hear...
Work is going along pretty well at the studio, and Sam Marco seems to be well pleased. I don't know what he expected me to be like, some kind of temperamental ham, I suspect.
Ham, indeed. That man ought to be thankful for the rest of his life to get Larry Noble under contract to him, after all the offers Larry has turned down. Well, I still can't see why he suddenly decided to go to Hollywood, though.
Yes, you can, Maud. Larry was worried almost sick about debts. This is a perfect chance for him to recoup. And by the time I'm well, he'll be back on his feet again.
Well, at least you know it's your own fault that he's out there, Mary, since you arranged it all with Tom Bryson. I wouldn't have believed Larry would accept. Well, it just shows you never know about people, even your best friends. Oh, has he any more to say in the letter?
Oh, yes. Like to hear it?
If you want me to. If it isn't for your ears alone.
Oh, no, Maud. Let me see now. Where was I? Oh, yes. I'm going to start looking around for a room someplace else. Living here at this big hotel is costing me too much. And after all, I only need a place to turn in after work. Tom Bryson has turned over his car to me while he's still laid up with his injured back. I didn't like to take it, but you know how Tom is when he gets an idea. I don't know that I'll use it for anything except to drive back and forth to the studio. After all, I don't know anyone out here. The only person on the set I've talked to much is a nice young kid just making a start in pictures. She's an ambitious youngster, and her odd respect for my reputation on Broadway is rather appealing. Although it makes me feel older than Methuselah.
Who is this young worshiper? Oh, I hope Larry won't let her make a nuisance of herself.
He says her name is Dora Dean. She's only a child.
Children can be very precocious, Mary.
Oh, don't be silly, Maud. I think it's sweet of Larry to take an interest in this young girl. You know how good he is about helping others to get a start.
I certainly do. Claudia Vincent was a good example of that.
That's not fair, Maud. That was a terrible mistake. And no one knows it more than Larry.
No one should.
Maud, we've all got to forget about Claudia Vincent and everything she stood for. As far as I'm concerned, it's all part of the past. We'll start over without rancor or bitterness. Just as soon as I can leave this place.
Have you any idea when that will be, Mary?
Not exactly. But I have an idea it won't be too long. Both my nurse and Dr. Allen keep telling me how well my face and hands are healing. I haven't been allowed to see myself in a mirror yet, but I'm very optimistic. Oh, and I'm so glad that Larry seems cheerful and contented in Hollywood.
Well, I'd have thought he would be quite wretched so far away from you, at a time when there's so much to be determined.
But I didn't want Larry to feel that he had to sit here at my side. You know, there wasn't a thing he could do to help. This way he's kept busy, and he's getting rid of the awful worry of his bills. And that's important to him, Maud.
Yes, I know, Mary. But it's not the most important thing.
I don't understand why you feel that Larry has done something wrong in accepting Tom's offer of a Hollywood contract. It's what I wanted him to do. It's the only reason I wrote to Tom Bryson myself.
I know all that, my dear. But I still don't know what ever possessed Larry to accept. When he first got the offer, he said firmly that he wouldn't consider it. The next thing I knew, he was on a plane and flying to the coast. Now, just what do you suppose happened to make him change his mind?
If Mary Noble realized that her husband saw Tom Bryson's answering wire, and in that way learned that she had engineered the Hollywood offer, Would she understand his sudden departure? Would she realize that he is keeping up a bitter sham of enthusiasm in his daily letters? Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.